God bless you and welcome back to Heart Ministry Network and the Extraordinary People broadcast. I am your host, Brenda Divers, and today I have with me the lovely, the gifted, the anointed, Jacqueline Moriniere. How did I do, Jackie? How did I do with that?
Perfect.
Beautiful, beautiful name for a beautiful, beautiful young lady. And we are in store for a great show. My heart always is so thrilled to see young women coming up and doing, major things and, for God. So we certainly are excited. We thank you for your godmom, Catherine, who said you've got to talk to this lady. She is, she just had nothing but wonderful things to say about you. So we said, absolutely, yes, we have to have her on this show because you are extraordinary. So just say good afternoon to our viewers, Jackie.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. I'm so excited. And
Oh,
shout out to my
good.
godmother.
Yeah. Amen. She'll be proud. This is a proud God mommy moment. So before we get started, my first question, and is my favorite actually, is what was your conversion experience and how you came to know the Lord? Can you share that?
Yes. Oh boy, it's so powerful. I actually came to the Lord young, but the circumstances which I came to the Lord was essentially my family was unsaved. My stepdad actually met my mom, who had three little girls, and
Mm,
he married my mom and adopted three girls that weren't his.
wow.
And he led us all to Christian Stronghold Church, I think Baptist Church at the time in Philadelphia.
Hmm.
And he essentially, through his leadership, the entire family got saved. And so me and my two sisters, and my mom, we were saved young, which was awesome. So I was raised in that church, same church all my life. And I reflect on that a lot because I actually, it's very weird saying stepdad because we were raised, God brought us together
Hmm.
as a unit. So even when
Yeah.
I found out, it's like, oh, that's my dad. These are my sisters, not my stepsisters. And so,
Right.
um, to see God's work in our family and to create one family from so many different parts, um, is just such a blessing. And we're so, just tight today and, still in the same church.
Amen. What a beautiful story. What a beautiful story. It's basically like being grafted into the family of God, right? And
Exactly.
yes, that's such a beautiful story. Amen. And I think women who are raised in the household with a father, there's such a godly father, someone who cares for them.
Yeah.
They have such a beautiful or a better outlook, because you know what it is to be loved, by a man of God. So
Yeah.
praise
So blessed.
God. Yes, praise God for your story. So tell us a little more about Jacqueline the woman.
Sure. So, you would think this is what I coach people on, so you think I would be great at this, but um, but I worked in higher education for about 8 years in various
Mhm.
capacities, from admissions to academic support. I love being in sort of the intellectual environment with students who are learning, um, growing into their identity and who they are. It was even when I graduated from college, I went to Swarthmore College. I really missed
Mhm.
just being in that environment. So when I got back, I thought about, when I say I got back, I lived in Russia for 2 years total. Um, I
Wow.
was a Russian major. And so I did Fulbright research in Russia after college, and then thought I would go into a PhD program in either anthropology or sociology. But I was just really unhappy. When I got back, I was like, this isn't what I want to do. And so it was a lot of reflection, a lot of prayer. And, God led me to Drexel University, and from there, I've been in higher ed ever since. Worked at Drexel, at three local colleges, universities actually:
Mhm.
Drexel, Swarthmore College, and now University of Pennsylvania. And I had lots of mentorship and guidance that sort of led me back to career services. When I was in college, I actually worked in a career services office, and it was something I really enjoyed, helping my peers, my cohort, um, just sort of align their skills and interests with potential opportunities, whether it's a fellowship or a graduate school or a job. And actually, I even did a church. I was in the college and career ministry. I've always had this sort of affinity for helping people with resumes, and always sort of done that. And so it took some time, but eventually it led me back to that. Where now I'm
Mm-hmm.
career services for some time, and currently I work at University of Pennsylvania Career Services Office as associate director, working particularly with undergraduates and graduates in the School of Engineering and Applied Science. So I love working with engineers and computer scientists. Um, so
This is so good. Again, just to listen to the story, and you basically, you know what God put you here to do, right? Whenever I have a practice of doing this while I'm talking to people and they're talking about the thing that they love to do, right?
yeah,
Automatically the smile comes with it. That smile comes
yeah,
with it. And certainly, as you begin to talk about, where God has placed you in the journey, the smile was there, So it's
praise him.
just, it's a telltale sign that this is the passion. This is what God has, put me here to do. And the beautiful thing is, although you're blessing people, you're getting enriched by it, right? It's a joy for you to get up in the morning and to know, what you're going to do for the day. So bless the name of the Lord. I just always love to, to hear the passion and then see the face that lights up as a result of it. So it's just our God and what he does. So in that, he allowed you to open your own consulting firm, right? Moriniere Consulting. And
Yes,
am I doing good with that? I'm going to have to say that like all through the interview. I just love how it kind of rolls off your tongue, right?
Moriniere
So, oh, so tell us again. So we know about the journey and how God brought you back. So, Jackie, at what point in all of this did you know that God wanted you to form your own company? How did that work for you?
I didn't know. It was my husband that actually noticed
Okay.
that I was spending a lot of time helping other people with their career journeys, resumes. I have a heart for helping people who don't have degrees. I know there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of feelings of, because I don't have this piece of paper, I can't get a job that pays well, and that's not true. So I have a
Mm-hmm.
heart for people who are changing careers or who are unhappy in their careers, and for people without degrees. So he said, "You're doing all these things anyway. Why don't you consolidate all this and create a company?" And it just made sense, right? I was already doing this work outside of my full-time job, so why not do it? And
Mm-hmm.
so that was just, it was kind of interesting, because I'm always talking about how I'm helping others, but it's sometimes hard to reflect for yourself and then help yourself. And so even with
Absolutely.
current clients, I'm like, I'm trying to practice what I preach and do what I'm telling you to do. I need to do myself. So yeah, so he was essentially just noticing I'm on the phone with friends, family, people who've reached out, students outside of where I was working, um, mentees, at talking, having these conversations about sort of career and resumes and all these things. So I've been engaged in this sort of career development ecosystem even outside of my 9 to 5. And so he's like, well, you're already doing this, so why don't you create a business around what you naturally do and what you're naturally good at and what people are reaching out for you for. And so it was kind of funny, because I'm like, you would think I would have noticed these
Mm-hmm.
happening, but it's amazing how you do kind of need external, even for someone who is in coaching, or you do this for a
Yeah.
career. It's so important to have outside or external sort of reflection, and folks to help you as well, because you don't notice things.
Yeah.
And so
That's
yeah.
good. So now, are you doing this full time, or are you working towards the exit plan? Where are you in this particular path?
So not working toward an exit plan at the moment. I actually love what I do at University of Pennsylvania. I love coaching engineers, and so I have the bandwidth so far to do this outside of work for the time being.
Mhm.
So I love both. I don't want to give up either. And so I am doing this sort of outside of my 9 to 5.
And you said something about your husband. He was the one who said, you're doing all this, why not? And I think it's beautiful when you have a partnership,
Mhm.
with your spouse, that they can see the things that you don't. Sometimes if we're in the trenches, right? And
Yes.
it's all around us. It's time they have to kind of, shine the light on the things that they see. And I always think it's beautiful when, one person says, I see you doing this, sweetheart. Why don't we try so and so? And then, because you're already flowing in that, it just makes sense.
I do have to say it's a family effort. So my husband and my sister are co-owners with this as well, and so they both have been so supportive. I always joke and say that I have two direct reports, my husband and my sister,
Oh,
because
hmm.
they're doing a lot of
Good.
the back work, operations, communication, marketing. So it is wonderful to have sort of a whole family kind of involved in making this successful.
Yes, and I love that you're saying this, because in everything we need a team.
Yes.
We can't do everything. And when God sends someone who, truly has the vision, has the skill set, right? That you need, it's beautiful. Just like, Jamal's behind the scenes, but I'm telling you, he has been an invaluable part of our team. So it's just important to have a team. So you're not, just doing, burning
Right.
yourself out, because you really can, get involved in all the day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank the Lord for that. So what are, again, some of the services that you offer?
So thank you for that. So I just want to say that sort of one of the things that I think our value proposition, or what um, I do a little differently, is that yes, I can, you know, talk about strategy and tools and resources, the resume, branding, all the LinkedIn optimization, all those things. But I think I noticed, and which has sort of led me to do this in the first place, is that half the battle is generating confidence, and sort of battling the fear. A lot of folks who are changing careers, or feel, oh, I don't have the certifications or the degrees. There's before they can even get to, oh, let me sit down and work on my resume, or let me work on my cover letter, they have to sort of break through that fear, feelings
Hmm.
of loneliness, or that, or just having been rejected. A lot of folks are coming to me who have been rejected over and over again. And so I try to spend a
Hmm.
lot of time helping them reframe, recognizing, well, one, 2 Timothy 1:7, God has not given us a spirit of fear,
Hmm.
but of power and of
Yes,
love,
yes.
of mind. But also that God has already given us gifts, God-given gifts and talents that we're born with, that we just have to align with our purpose and walk into our purpose. And so it's really just, I feel like half the battle, even with my students, most of my clients, is let's reframe
Hmm.
this. Right? Don't take that rejection as a hit to you, but as
Hmm.
rejection is just a direction. That door isn't for you, and that's okay. Right? So there's many different paths. There's many different opportunities, positions that you can still be fulfilled and productive in and happy in. So it doesn't have to be this one path. And so I think spending a really good amount of time with exercises and activities, and just reframing how we think about the job search, how we think about careers, um, and to really reflect on what we care about. What are our values? What are our skills and gifts and talents? And let's think about that, because that can be applied in so many different ways. It doesn't be one way, but so many different ways. And so I think that's really
Hmm.
half the battle. And then, of course, getting into more of the um, strategic things, like, of course, the resume, and or creating career roadmap, or the branding, things like that. So we do all of that. It's called, it's almost like full cycle, just like your full cycle recruiting, but through the full cycle in terms of starting from just values and exploration all the way to salary negotiation, which I'm,
Wow.
also. So.
And I love that part. Well, all of it I love, but the salary negotiation. I think In
Mhm.
many cases, people walk away without that.
Yeah.
This is what they're offering. This is what, I didn't have a say in there, but there is a negotiation process, and it's a skill to do that. So I love that you said that. I'm sure that I think women in particular, sometimes we just kind of say, oh, okay, thank you, and kind of move away. But yeah, we have value coming in. So, we shouldn't take the first thing we hear. So I love that. And that's empowering. So do you do outside of or in the business, do you do workshops or, seminars? Do you do that type of thing? Because it seems like it's something that's very much needed.
Yeah, so that's something we're moving into. So right now I'm doing one-on-one coaching, but our goal is to add courses and workshops and even products. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but we're looking at career products that I think would be helpful because wellness is a part of this. So I think, and this is my story.
Yeah.
I'm saying things, but I've been through it. So changing careers, changing jobs, and then you're so stressed, and then you get to that new job, but you haven't had you've been so stress building up that you're coming into the new job stressed, right? And so it's just not a really good place to be. So how can we build
Yeah.
wellness and have peace within the circumstances? The circumstances are it. We need jobs, we need money, we need these benefits, right? So how can we exist within these circumstances that we're in and find ways of self-care and wellness? So that's also sort of a part of what my team and I are trying to work on is how can we, outside the one-on-one coaching, we are hoping to expand to provide some career wellness products, and as well as workshops and courses.
Wonderful. So this is a full service company. And I like what you said that, we're going from one thing to the other without taking that time to even decompress, right?
Right.
Stress on top of stress. You know what that feels like. And eventually it's really, it takes you out sometimes, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Um, so I love that. And again, for me to see younger women, like next generation kind of thing, coming behind us, um, and coming behind us full throttle, take no prisoners, kind of, it's beautiful. It reminds me of the Moses Joshua,
Mm,
kind of
mhm.
scenario where maybe you were mentored or so, people were behind you,
Right.
or mentors to you, and then you are now taking that banner and you are going for it, without apology. You're doing that thing that God has put you here to do, what He's put in your heart to do. And I just love the zeal. You have a I don't know, it's not quiet zeal, but it's a calming, I
Mhm.
think, zeal, where I'm sure when people come to you, they feel relaxed. They don't have that fear, and in judgment. I don't see that coming from you at all. Just, like you said, reframing whatever that scenario is, and in a way that it's palatable, right?
Mhm.
So I
Exactly.
see all of that, and God has given you the gift of wisdom that's evident from what you're doing. So it's just for me. I just have all these proud mommy moments when I see young women coming up and coming strong, and that's what you're doing, and having a team behind you. So I know you said you have some things coming in the pike, and we just need to follow you and just see what you're doing next, because I know there's a lot that you can't really can't even talk about right now. But there's some major things coming out of this
Yeah.
company. Right. So now, are there anything that you can tell us about, any things in the future that we can possibly be a part of?
Sure. So I am interested in creating sort of job search circles where women can come together and sort of be supported in this, but
Hmm.
while also centering wellness as well. So, sort of this idea is I really want to center wellness and exploration. That even though we're looking for a job, right? That you don't have to. This
Hmm.
is what I tell my students: you don't have to stop exploring just because you graduate. I mean, the goal is that you have a salary and benefits, but you're still exploring, right? You're still trying to
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
walk into your purpose or figure out what you want to do. And so to think of your career, I call it more like a sandbox rather than
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
sort of linear path. But it's a sandbox, and you can go to so many different directions and apply your skills and gifts in so many different ways, and still be happy and still be productive, right? So just trying to, like I said, reframe how we think about careers, and also I
Mm-hmm.
think empathetic to ourselves and each other, and compassionate with ourselves and each other. That it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of this is
Yeah.
okay. So experiment, experiment with that salary negotiation conversation, which is so scary, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
as you know what, I'm gonna pilot this. I'm gonna practice this conversation because you're gonna be doing it over and over again. So why not do it the first time and try it out, right? So sort of this idea
Yes.
of not everything is so like life ending or like critical, but that you can kind of experiment and then do something different the next time, right? So really trying to just separate us from connecting rejection or this process from our own self-worth, because you are worthy, amazing, you have skills, you have talents, you have god-given gifts. Just because someone, a door closes, once again, is redirection, does not mean um, anything about who you are and your self-worth.
Yeah, that's so good. And we were just reminded, we were talking about many of the women in the Bible and how they, they were barren at some point, and how that was just their womb was being prepared for something great, right? So
Right.
this is the same kind of thing. It may be a shut door, but it's just preparation for something else.
Exactly.
And to know, yeah, and it doesn't define you when someone says no.
Not
That's not, that does not define you. Yeah. And as you grow, and the older you are, maybe the more no's you'll get. It's just a part of life,
exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly. I think the more we practice this and are okay with failure and no's, well, the more success we're going to see. And the more comfortable we are with a sort of failure and redirection and the no's, it'll cause us to continue to take steps, move forward. Okay, I'll move to another direction. So I think it's just
Yeah.
being confident and okay in that space is actually going to be really helpful with moving forward.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Again, you've been gifted with wisdom, and wisdom certainly has her perfect work. So we just thank God for, for you, what you're doing, and that's our time is almost up. And I just think because nobody knows what happens behind the scenes and how we were in and out, but thanks be to God, we were
Yes.
able to complete this interview, and so grateful to you, Jackie, again for me to see women coming up and who are loving and compassionate and kind. These are the things that people remember. They remember how you made them feel in all of this, right? So even though this can be a very scary move, moving from career to career, going in, negotiating, all that could be scary, but you're giving them the tools to walk in confidence, right?
Exactly.
And if you get a no, I love that you're reframing what that no means. So it's not that earth shattering kind of thing where we have to go
Exactly.
and put the covers over it. Yeah. So this is so good. Thank you for that. Um, how do we get in touch with you? How does someone get in touch with you for your services?
So the best way is through our consultation form on the website, Moriniere, MorniereConsulting.com, but also through LinkedIn as well. If you could just find me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to respond there as well.
That's great. And so guys, ladies, I know ladies in particular, but I know you hear this and you can see the value in her coming in, doing workshops, doing seminars, being a part of your women's functions or that kind of thing, because it's certainly empowerment. You're bringing the strength with you. Yeah, so call her up, find her, get her on your programs, because I'm sure you will be blessed by this young lady and what she's doing. So, again, that's our time, Jackie. Thank you so much for spending time. And I always love to end with a word of inspiration. So, how would you inspire us today?
So there's a design thinking term called bias towards action. And it's essentially based on this idea that when we have an idea or a goal, to take meaningful action towards that goal. We spend so much time brainstorming and thinking, and like, should I do this? Should I do that? I don't know. I don't know if I should do it. But it's this idea of just do it, because we learn through doing. And this is, I'm not perfect at this. I'm struggling with this too, even with the business, in terms of just do it. And so I think getting into the practice of practicing and piloting and prototyping, and just, and
Mm.
if we have to change, we change. If we have to make shifts, we shift. But sometimes we spend so much time. Should I go into business? Should I do this action? Should I make this move? Well, let's have a bias towards action and let's move towards it and take steps to get there.
That's really good. Why not? Let's
Why
do
not?
that. Absolutely. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it helps you to move. I always say that, as long as you're moving, the Lord He can just tap you to change your
exactly.
direction. Right.
Exactly.
So, but if you're
Or second
standing still, yeah, yeah. So that is so good. Just get
thought.
moving, get moving, and
Mhm.
contact Jacqueline. Go, spend some time in consulting, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll come away with beautiful, beautiful ideas you can use in the now. You don't have to wait for years to use them. They're applicable now. So get just call her, find her, and have her come over. To your one-on-ones or your groups. Yeah, she would be a definite asset to any environment. So, Jackie, thank you for spending time with us. It has been my pleasure to meet you, young lady. Again, I will, contact your godmother. Let her know this was a beautiful one that you sent our way. Yes. So, it's just, again, a godly, proud mommy moment to see women coming up and, doing things that are worthwhile for the kingdom. Yeah. So God bless you. And thank you thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us here on Heart Ministry Network and the Extraordinary People broadcast with our new friend, Jacqueline Moriniere. I'm going to keep saying it until I get it correctly. Yeah, but thank you so much. Thank you for being on, and God bless you. We'll talk to you again real soon.
God bless you. Bye bye.